Beloved ones, there is no chance, no accident, no gamble in the divine plan. What men call luck is but the outworking of the law of faith. The subconscious is impressed by the word, and the word becomes flesh. The spoken word of truth dissolves every false belief of limitation, poverty, and lack. So, I say to you now, your jackpot is not a game of chance. It is a game of faith. The supply is already yours, waiting for your recognition. The great reservoir of abundance knows no delay and no withholding. It flows instantly when the channel is open, and prayer is the key that unlocks it. You do not beg God, for begging implies separation. You declare your good, for declaring implies possession. Faith speaks the word, and the word goes forth to accomplish. Just as surely as a seed planted in fertile soil brings forth after its kind, so does the word of faith bring forth its perfect manifestation. Therefore, let this be your manifestation prayer. Infinite Spirit, I thank thee that the jackpot of my life now appears. It comes to me in perfect ways, under grace and in divine timing. What is mine by divine right cannot be lost, and what belongs to another cannot be taken. I am one with the abundance of God, and I receive with joy and thanksgiving. My supply knows no limit, and money comes to me in a steady, ever-increasing stream. The doors now open, the way is made clear, and I stand victorious in my good. As you speak these words, speak them with authority. The voice of faith commands, and the universe obeys. Let no doubt enter, for doubt delays. You must see yourself already in possession, already holding the prize, already living in the glow of answered prayer. I have often said, nothing stands between man and his supply but his false beliefs. Remove the thought of chance, and you stand upon the rock of divine certainty. God's ways are sure, his law is exact, and when you align with it, what you call the jackpot is but the natural outpouring of infinite riches. Remember, it is not the numbers, nor the wheel, nor the cards that decide. It is your consciousness. It is the word spoken in faith that wins. And when you declare your jackpot, you declare your freedom, for money is but a symbol of energy, and energy is God's infinite substance. So walk in the assurance that you cannot lose. For with God, there is no loss, only gain. With God there is no chance, only certainty. With God there is no waiting, only perfect manifestation. Declare it now, and give thanks, for your jackpot by divine right is already here. There is no such thing as chance in the workings of spirit. Chance is the invention of the doubting mind, a shadow cast by fear and uncertainty. But in the divine plan, all is law, all is order, all is certainty. The same intelligence that swings the stars in their orbits and causes the seasons to come in their appointed time, governs the affairs of men, with equal precision. What men call luck, fortune or chance, is but the exact outworking of faith. It is faith that draws the prize, not the number. It is consciousness that determines outcome, not the spin of a wheel. When one understands this, the fever and anxiety around what the world calls a jackpot dissolve like mist before the rising sun, for there is no gamble in spirit. There is only alignment, and alignment is everything. When a man aligns his thought with fear, he aligns with loss and disappointment. When he aligns with faith, he aligns with certainty, provision, and victory. Therefore, you may know that your winnings are not in the hands of fate, nor are they tossed by chance, but they are secure in the immutable law of God. How often we hear men say, "It was just luck," or "I never win anything." They think themselves subject to fortune's wheel, forgetting that fortune is but another word for faith in disguise. The wheel spins according to their conviction. The lottery ticket, the card, the draw, these are but symbols, instruments through which the invisible law becomes visible. And so to depend upon chance is to wander in the wilderness of doubt, but to depend upon law is to walk firmly on the promised land of supply. I have often said that nothing comes to man except through his own spoken word. His word is his wand. His word is the magnet that draws his supply. If he declares lack, lack answers. If he declares loss, loss appears. If he declares fear, fear fulfills itself. But if he declares abundance, abundance hastens. If he declares certainty, certainty stands before him. If he declares victory, victory crowns his path. The game is not played on the outside, but on the inside. It is not in the tossing of dice, but in the casting of thought. A woman once said to me, "I always feel unlucky. No matter what I try, it never comes to me." And I told her, "It is because you have declared yourself unlucky, and the law must obey your declaration." You have written your loss upon the tablet of your own heart, and life has but copied it upon the screen of events." She was astonished. "Then do I have power even over chance?" And I said, "Yes, you have power, for there is no chance. There is only law, and the law is set in motion by your word." From that day she began to declare differently. She said, "I am always in the right place at the right time. I always draw what is mine by divine right. The Spirit of God within me cannot lose. I am guided, I am supplied, I am victorious." Soon she found herself winning, not only in games, but in life itself. Opportunities opened, gifts came, money flowed. She discovered that the so-called law of averages had no power against the law of God. What a marvelous freedom it is to know that you cannot be subject to chance, that you are not a leaf blown about by winds of fortune, but you are rooted in the ground of certainty. You walk not in a casino of fate, but in the kingdom of heaven, and in this kingdom, every draw is a winning draw, every turn is a right turn, every step is a guided step. The law knows no defeat, it only knows manifestation. Therefore, when you speak your prayer, speak it not with trembling as if asking favor from fortune, but speak it with the calm authority of one who knows the law must respond. Say within yourself, "I am not lucky, I am divinely certain. My winnings are inevitable, for they are already mine in spirit. The infinite cannot withhold, and nothing can block my supply. What belongs to me comes by divine appointment, and it comes without delay." Let that assurance ring through your whole being, and you will find that what men call luck follows you as a shadow follows the sun. But it is not luck, it is law. See how this lifts the burden from the heart. You no longer chase chance. You no longer strive to force outcomes. You rest in the knowledge that your good is secure. You are not a gambler. You are a manifester. You are not hoping against odds. You are standing in certainty. You are not playing with chance. You are working with law, and law never fails. So let every anxious thought be dissolved. Let every restless hope be quieted. Stand firm in the assurance that you are governed not by chance, but by spirit. And as you stand, you shall see the evidence unfold. The winning ticket, the unexpected prize, the sudden opening. All these are but the outer shapes of the inner certainty. For once you know that manifestation is law, and not chance, you are already moving into the realization that your jackpot is not created when it arrives, it is simply revealed. And as we continue, we shall see that this revelation was waiting for you long before you ever reached for it. Your jackpot, your great prize, your overflowing treasure, is not something that begins when it is drawn in your hand. It already exists in the unseen. It is waiting in the storehouse of spirit, fully formed and complete, prepared for your recognition. The outer appearance of lack is only a shadow play, for in the kingdom there is no lack, there is no delay. All that belongs to you has already been spoken into existence, and it hovers about you, awaiting the opening of your consciousness to receive. How many men and women spend their days thinking they must fight, chase, or strain after money? They exhaust themselves with effort, convinced that the prize lies far away, hidden, and perhaps forever out of reach. But I tell you, your prize is not in the distance. It is here, now, in the invisible realm of supply. It is as close to you as the air you breathe. What is yours, by divine right, has already been set aside, stamped with your name, written in the invisible book of life. You need not seize it, you need not wrestle for it. You need only align yourself, and it comes without struggle, without toil, without resistance. The unseen is always the reality, the visible is but the shadow. Just as the seed holds within it the full tree before it ever breaks through the soil, so does the invisible hold your jackpot before it ever touches your hand. To believe otherwise is to live in the land of illusion. But when you know the truth, that your supply exists now, complete and undiminished, then you rest in perfect confidence. You cease to chase, and you begin to declare. You cease to worry, and you begin to thank. And thanksgiving brings the unseen into sight more swiftly than anything else. I recall once a man came to me, trembling with desire for a great prize. He said, "If only I could win, if only fortune would smile upon me, all my troubles would be ended." I told him, "Your fortune is smiling now, your prize exists now. The treasure is already yours in spirit, and spirit knows no delay. It waits only upon you. When you cease to plead and begin to claim, it will hasten to you with wings." He looked at me astonished, as though I had spoken madness. but he began to practice. Each day he declared, I already possess my supply. The great prize of my life is mine now, and it comes to me by divine right. I thank thee, infinite Spirit, that it is already done, and in a short season, without strain, without struggle, the very prize he longed for came into his hands. Why was it so? Because the thing already existed in the invisible. His prayer did not create it, his prayer revealed it. His affirmation did not manufacture it. His affirmation opened the channel for it to appear. So it is with all manifestation. We do not make the tree grow by willpower. The tree is already encoded within the seed. We do not create the sun by chanting. The sun is already blazing in the heavens. We only lift the shade, and its light pours in. Thus your jackpot is not the product of chance, nor the result of struggle. It is a spiritual fact, a finished work in the unseen. When you know this, your attitude shifts. You stop saying, if I win, and you begin to say, when it appears. You no longer speak of possibility, you speak of certainty. For the supply is already there, as surely as the harvest is already contained within the seed, as surely as dawn is already promised when the night falls. And take note, this truth frees you from envy, for you need not covet the good of another. Another's prize can never diminish your own. The universe is abundant beyond measure. If 10,000 men win today, it does not steal from your storehouse. The infinite is not divided, it is multiplied. What belongs to you cannot be touched by another, and what belongs to another cannot be claimed by you. Each has his own supply, his own treasure, his own jackpot already secure in spirit. To grasp at another's good is to confess disbelief in your own, but to rejoice in another's blessing is to multiply your own harvest. And so I say again, your jackpot exists now. It is not waiting to be created, it is waiting to be revealed. It hovers close, pressing against the door of your consciousness. Open the door with words of faith, and it will rush in. Open it with thanksgiving, and it will overflow. You need not strain to pull it down from heaven, for heaven is already within you. Speak the word, give thanks, and watch as the invisible takes form before your very eyes. This is why doubt is so destructive, for doubt says, it is not yet, it is far away, it may never come. And by saying this, doubt closes the door against the very treasure standing outside. Faith, on the other hand, says, it is now, it is mine, it appears in perfect ways. Faith swings the door wide, and the unseen steps into sight. Therefore, when you make your prayer, do not plead for your jackpot as if it were uncertain. Declare it as already finished. Say, it is mine now, it comes to me swiftly, in perfect order, under grace. Give thanks for it, even before your hand touches it, for the thanksgiving is the evidence that you believe. And spirit always matches belief with manifestation, so rest in this assurance, your jackpot, your great supply, your prize, already exists in spirit. You need not chase it, you need not doubt it, you need not strain for it, you need only claim it. And as you claim, it will appear, and as it appears, you will see that it was never a gamble, never a chance, but a certainty established before the foundation of the world. When you know that your good already exists in the unseen, you must approach it not as a beggar, but as an heir. Too many prayers are wasted in pleading. Men fall upon their knees crying, "Oh God, please give me this. Please grant me that." And yet every cry of desperation shuts the very door they wish to open, for it confesses separation, it confesses lack, it confesses that what is already theirs has not yet been given. Begging is a denial of the finished work. Begging is the language of one who does not yet know his inheritance. I tell you, do not beg, declare. For when you declare, you acknowledge possession. When you affirm, you align with the certainty of spirit. The word of authority is the only word that creation understands. Just as a king does not plead with his servants, but commands, and it is done, so must you command your good with the authority of a child of God. Your word is not a weak request, it is law in motion. A woman once said to me, "But Miss Shinn, I feel humble when I beg. Is it not spiritual to lower myself and plead for mercy?" And I answered her, "No, false humility is not spirituality. True humility is knowing that of yourself you can do nothing, but through the Spirit you already possess all. True humility is standing boldly in your divine inheritance and declaring it without apology. She had been praying day and night for money, with tears and with fears, but nothing came. I told her to stop her begging and begin declaring. Each morning she was to say, "Infinite Spirit, I thank thee that my supply is here and now. I stand in my inheritance, and my good comes to me swiftly and without delay." She obeyed, though trembling, for it felt strange to her lips. But within weeks the money she needed flowed in from unexpected channels, and she learned the difference between asking and declaring. The world has trained men to think that begging moves God, but God is unmoved by tears of fear. God is moved by faith. Faith is the voice that commands. Faith is the assurance that already possesses. When you beg, you speak from emptiness. When you declare, you speak from fullness. And the law always matches the tone of your word. If you cry, I lack, then lack must answer. But if you say, I have, then abundance rushes to appear. Consider the words of Jesus, "When ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Notice he did not say, "Beg as though you have not." He said, "Believe that ye receive." That is present tense. That is possession. To believe you receive is to stand already holding it, already thanking for it, already rejoicing in it. And your rejoicing becomes the magnet that draws it swiftly into sight. This is the winning prayer, the jackpot prayer, not the prayer of desperation, but the prayer of declaration. You do not tremble before fate, hoping for favor. You stand in certainty, knowing your prize is already stamped with your name. You say, "This is mine by divine right. It comes to me now, in perfect ways. Nothing can stop it, nothing can delay it, nothing can diminish it." That is the language of manifestation. Think of the difference in energy. The beggar huddles outside the gates, hoping the master might toss him a coin. The heir walks into the house, opens the treasure chest, and takes what belongs to him. Which are you? If you beg, you shut yourself out of your own inheritance. If you declare, you enter into possession. You may say, "But how can I declare when I do not yet see it?" And I answer, that is precisely what faith is. Faith does not wait for sight. Faith is the evidence of things unseen. When you declare, you are planting the seed. When you beg, you are uprooting the seed before it has time to grow. A farmer does not cry over his field, begging the corn to sprout. He plants in confidence, declares the harvest, and thanks in advance. So must you with your prayer. Do not whisper weakly, "Please God, send me my jackpot." Instead, speak boldly, "Infinite Spirit, my jackpot is here and now. The prize that belongs to me comes swiftly under grace. I give thanks that it is already mine." This word spoken in authority sets the law in motion. The universe responds, for the universe always mirrors the voice of faith. And let me remind you, to declare is not arrogance. To declare is obedience. For God has already given. To act as if he has not, is to deny his generosity. To claim what is yours is to honor his promise. Therefore, the more boldly you declare, the more fully you honor the giver. Once you master the art of declaration, you will never again waste breath in begging. You will know yourself as a co-creator, not a pauper. You will speak the word, and your word will go forth and accomplish. And you will find that your prayers no longer echo with uncertainty, but resound with the ring of victory. For in truth, when you declare, you win before the prize ever arrives. And as we continue, you will see why your declaration must be free of doubt, why hesitation delays the answer, and why bold faith is the key that swings open every door. When you declare, it must be with certainty, for the universe responds to conviction. A weak word, spoken half in hope and half in fear, carries no power. It is like a shadow striking at the air. But a word spoken in bold faith is like a hammer upon the rock. It breaks the seeming barriers, it shatters the appearance of delay, and the way is cleared. Doubt is the thief of man's inheritance, the robber at the door of his treasure. It whispers, "Perhaps not. What if it fails? What if it never comes?" And the moment you give ear to that whisper, the channel clogs, and the current of supply slows. Doubt delays. Faith accelerates. You may picture it as a great river of abundance, flowing ceaselessly from the infinite. When you doubt, you build dams with your thought. You stop the current with fear. The water piles up behind the obstruction, pressing, waiting, but unable to flow. Yet the moment you believe, the dam breaks, and the flood rushes forth, sweeping into your life with swiftness and power. It was always there, waiting. It was not the river that failed, it was your own unbelief that blocked it. I once spoke with a man who said, "I affirm every day, but nothing happens." I asked him, "How do you affirm?" He answered, "I say, money comes to me, but I always add in my heart, I hope it does, though I doubt it will." I told him, "Then it is not an affirmation, but a contradiction. You cancel your word with your own unbelief. The law is exact, it reproduces exactly what you sow. If you sow doubt into your affirmation, you reap delay. If you sow certainty, you reap swift manifestation." He learned to cast out his doubt, to speak the word with unwavering conviction, and in a short time his affairs changed. What seemed impossible before came rushing in, as if the heavens themselves had bent low to deliver. It is written, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and let not that man think he shall receive anything of the Lord." Double-mindedness is doubt. It is trying to walk two paths at once, to stand in both belief and disbelief, but you cannot serve two masters. You must choose this day whom you will serve, fear or faith, doubt or certainty. The moment you choose faith, the law hastens. The moment you cast off hesitation, the manifestation speeds toward you. See yourself already in possession of the thing desired. See yourself already holding the prize, already rejoicing in the answered prayer. Act as though it were impossible to fail. Walk as though the jackpot were already in your hand. This vision, this inner assurance, is the very substance that draws the outer reality. When doubt rises, refuse it entry. Say, "Get thee behind me, I already have my good. I refuse delay, I walk in certainty." There was once a woman who desired a great prize, but every time she prayed she would afterward say, "But what if I am disappointed? What if it does not come?" And so disappointment came, because she had invited it by her words. I instructed her to reverse her speech. Instead of voicing her fear, she was to declare only victory. She began to say, "It cannot fail. It is already mine. What belongs to me is on its way now, and nothing can stop it." Each time doubt attempted to speak, she silenced it with truth. And soon enough, what she sought appeared, not as a chance occurrence, but as the exact working of faith. Faith is magnetic. It draws swiftly, it pulls strongly, it opens doors no man can shut. Doubt is corrosive. It eats away at your declaration, it weakens your vibration, it builds barriers where none exist. Therefore, to allow doubt to linger, is to delay your own good. To cast it out is to speed the answer. You are never waiting on God, God is waiting on you. The supply is ready, the law is ready, the prize is ready. The only question is, are you ready in faith? And faith is not a struggle, it is a calm assurance, a quiet certainty, a settled knowing. It is not straining to believe, it is resting in the truth that cannot fail. When you sit upon a chair, you do not strain to believe it will hold you, you simply rest, knowing it supports you. So must you rest in the law of manifestation, knowing it supports you unfailingly. When you doubt, you delay. When you believe, you accelerate. The moment you shift into faith, things begin to move swiftly, often with breathtaking speed. Doors open, opportunities arrive, money flows, prizes appear. What seemed impossible becomes simple, what seemed far away stands at your door. This is the nature of faith. It shortens time, it bridges distance, it collapses obstacles, it draws tomorrow into today. So let your prayer be pure, without mixture of fear, speak it boldly, and guard it jealously. Do not water it with worry, do not poison it with doubt. Keep it whole, keep it certain, keep it steadfast, then watch as the law responds in kind, swiftly, perfectly, without delay. And when you have mastered this, you will understand why it is said that what is yours cannot be withheld. For the law, when set in motion by faith, cannot fail to deliver your own, and no power on earth can keep it from you. When faith has done its perfect work, you will see that what is yours cannot be withheld. For there is a divine right in all things, and the moment you align with that right, nothing and no one can keep it from your hand. You may look about and say, "Others have taken my place, others have won my prize, others have claimed what should have been mine," but this is illusion. No man can take what belongs to you by divine appointment, and you cannot take what belongs to another. The law is just, exact, and unerring. What is yours is marked with your name in spirit, and it must appear in your life as certainly as the sunrise follows night. Delay cannot rob you, obstacles cannot block you, opposition cannot hinder you. They may appear for a season, but they are only shadows, and the truth dissolves them. Spirit knows its own, and what is decreed for you will find you, no matter how winding the path. A man once said to me, "Miss Shinn, I was cheated of my fortune, it was mine by right, but others deceived me, and I lost it." I answered, "If it were truly yours by divine right, it could never be taken. What was taken was not your fortune, but an appearance. What belongs to you is still waiting, and it will come in another form, greater and more perfect than you imagine. For no man can rob God, and no man can rob one who stands in God." And so it was. In due time, another door opened to him, greater than the first, and his good arrived untouched, multiplied, and shining with the seal of Spirit. This is the great security of the one who walks by faith. He knows he cannot lose. Though all the world may appear to snatch away his treasures, he remains calm, for he knows the real cannot be stolen. Only the shadow can be taken, never the substance. What is truly his will circle back, drawn by divine law, and it will enter his life with perfect timing. Think of the farmer again. He plants his field. If a storm destroys the crop, does he despair as though his harvest has been erased from the universe? No. He plants again, knowing that the law of seed and soil is eternal. He cannot lose the principle, and so he cannot lose the harvest. The same is true of you. If one door closes, another opens. If one channel dries, another gushes forth. Your supply is not dependent on one man, one company, one chance. It is secured in the infinite, and the infinite has countless ways to deliver it. Therefore cease to envy, cease to covet, cease to compare. The success of another cannot lessen your own, for each man's good is his alone. The jackpot that belongs to you cannot be given to another, nor can you steal another's prize. The law guards each portion. When you understand this, you rejoice in the blessings of others, knowing that as theirs comes to them, so yours comes to you. You bless their increase, and by blessing, you multiply your own. I knew a woman who desired a certain sum of money. She prayed, she affirmed, she believed, yet when she saw another win a prize, jealousy seized her heart, and she said, "Why them and not me? It should have been mine," and at once her channel closed, for envy declares to the universe, "I do not believe in my own good, I believe only in what belongs to another." I told her, "You have denied your own harvest by grasping at another's. Begin again, and this time bless their fortune. Say, I rejoice in their blessing, and I claim my own." She obeyed, though reluctantly, and within a short season, her own money came, in a manner perfect for her need. She learned that the universe has supply enough for all, and no one can take what belongs to another. So let your heart rest in this assurance. What is yours cannot pass you by. You cannot miss it. You cannot lose it. You cannot be cheated of it. It will find you, even if it must come through unexpected channels, even if it must take 1,000 detours, even if it seems delayed, it will arrive, for it is already decreed. Your faith simply clears the way, your declaration opens the door, and your gratitude prepares the vessel to receive. And when it arrives, you will see that it comes in perfect order. Not too soon, not too late, but in the very hour it is needed. Spirit is never hurried, never delayed. Spirit is exact. The winning ticket, the sudden opening, the overflowing supply, all these come when the conditions are right, when your faith is steady, when your word is unwavering, and you will marvel at the perfection of it, saying, "Truly nothing could have been lost, for my good was secured all along." Hold fast to this truth. When appearances rise against you, hold it when others seem to prosper while you wait. Hold it when fear whispers that you are too late, too old, too forgotten. Fear is a liar. Delay is an illusion, loss is a shadow. Your good is safe, untouched, and it is making its way to you even now. Stand firm, declare boldly, and give thanks in advance. And as your heart fills with thanksgiving, you will discover the secret that gratitude itself is the magnet that draws the unseen into form. For gratitude is the seal upon faith, the evidence that you already possess, and it brings the invisible swiftly into sight. Gratitude is the golden key that seals every manifestation. Without thanksgiving, the prayer is unfinished, the declaration incomplete. For gratitude is the proof that you already possess, the evidence that you believe it is done. When a man receives a gift, his first instinct is to give thanks. To withhold thanks is to deny receipt. So when you thank God in advance, you announce to the universe, I already have it, I already hold it. It is mine now. And the universe hastens to make your declaration visible, for it must match your inner conviction. Thanksgiving is not merely a polite word, it is a mighty force. It is the vibration of abundance, the sound of completion, the song of fulfillment. Gratitude lifts you instantly into alignment with your good. When you are grateful, you are magnetic, you are drawing to yourself more of what you are thankful for. When you complain, you repel your blessings. Complaining says, I do not have enough. Gratitude says, I have more than enough. And the law answers accordingly. I recall a woman who longed for financial release. She affirmed faithfully, yet she carried a spirit of complaint. She said, nothing ever works for me. My prayers are unheard. I never see results. And as she grumbled, the channels closed. I told her, replace your complaint with thanksgiving. Speak only words of gratitude. Thank God daily for your supply, as though it were already here. She resisted at first, for she said, how can I thank for what I do not see? But I reminded her, faith thanks before it sees. Faith rejoices before the door opens. At last she obeyed. She began to say each morning, I give thanks that money flows to me freely. I thank thee, that my jackpot is here, and now. I rejoice that my good is manifesting in perfect ways. In a short time, her affairs shifted, unexpected channels opened, and her supply rushed in. The moment she turned to thanksgiving, the door swung wide. Gratitude is the voice of certainty. It does not beg, it does not waver, it does not doubt. It sings as though the blessing were already in hand, and indeed, the song draws the blessing swiftly. Have you not seen a child who upon asking for a gift runs away laughing, already rejoicing, as though it were given? That is true faith, that is thanksgiving in advance, and the Father delights to see it. Gratitude also cleanses the heart of envy. When you thank God for what you have, and for what is on its way, you cannot begrudge another's good. You see their blessing, and you say, thank you God, that my own is coming also. In this way, thanksgiving keeps your channel clear of resentment, and keeps you poised to receive. A thankful heart is never empty, for it continually attracts more, and gratitude magnifies the little. When you thank for the small coin, it multiplies into greater sums. When you thank for the single door, it opens into a hallway of opportunities. Jesus himself gave thanks before the loaves and fishes multiplied. He did not say, it is not enough. He lifted the little, gave thanks, and it became abundance. The principle has never changed. Thank for what you see, and it will multiply. Thank for what you do not yet see, and it will appear. I once advised a man who desired to win a great sum. He was anxious, tense, always watching the clock, always wondering if the answer would come. I told him, cease your anxious watching, and begin to thank. Each time you feel worry rise, say, I thank thee, infinite spirit, that my prize is mine now. I rejoice that it is secure. I give thanks that it comes under grace. He began to practice, and with each word of thanksgiving his anxiety melted. Soon he lived in joy as though he already held the sum, and in due course, the money appeared, in a manner both unexpected and perfect. His thanksgiving had cleared the way, and sealed the manifestation. Gratitude is also protection. It keeps your mind lifted above fear and doubt. When you thank, you cannot at the same time worry. Thanksgiving crowds out anxiety, for the two cannot dwell together. If fear knocks at your door, answer it with praise. Say, thank you God, that my good is already here. The fear must vanish, and the faith will remain. So let gratitude be your constant companion. Do not wait for the prize to appear before you give thanks. Give thanks now, in advance, in faith. Speak it in the morning, speak it at night, let every breath be thanksgiving. Walk as one already blessed, talk as one already rich, rejoice as one already victorious. For indeed you are. The moment you give thanks, you step into possession, and when the manifestation comes, continue your thanksgiving. Do not fall into pride, saying, I have done this. Continue to lift your voice, Thank you, Infinite Spirit, for this good, and for the greater good that is on its way. Thanksgiving is never ending, for manifestation is never ending. Each blessing opens the door to more, each prize leads to a greater prize, each harvest contains the seed of another. So now you see that gratitude seals the work. Without it, your word is unfinished. With it, your word is complete, whole, irresistible. Thanksgiving is the final stroke of the artist's brush, the signature on the masterpiece, the crown upon the victory. Give thanks, and your jackpot appears in perfect ways, under grace, in divine order. And as you live in continual gratitude, you live in continual manifestation, where blessings flow like an endless river, and abundance knows no end. Beloved ones, the so-called jackpot of life is never chance, it is law. It is the divine certainty of a universe that answers every word, every thought, every declaration spoken in faith. You now know that your good is already prepared, waiting in the unseen, waiting for your recognition. You do not beg, you do not doubt, you declare, and the law fulfills. You have learned that hesitation shuts the door, but bold assurance swings it wide. And above all, you know now that what is yours by divine right cannot pass you by, and nothing that belongs to another can ever be taken. So lift your voice in gratitude. Thank God before the prize appears, for gratitude seals the word and crowns the victory. See yourself already in possession, rejoice as though it were here, and the invisible will swiftly take form. The universe moves with certainty, not chance. With God there is no gamble, only order. With God there is no delay, only perfect timing. With God there is no loss, only gain. Therefore stand upon the rock of divine truth, and say with confidence, my supply is here, my jackpot is here, my abundance is here now, I receive it with joy, under grace, in perfect ways. And as you speak it, so it shall be, for the word of faith is irresistible, and the riches of spirit are without end. Rejoice then, for you hold the winning ticket, not in your hand, but in your consciousness. And consciousness creates form. Your manifestation is certain, your prayer is answered, your victory is assured. Go forward in praise, in thanksgiving, and in unshakable faith, and watch as the treasures of heaven pour forth into visible expression. Truly you are one with the infinite jackpot of God, and it is yours now, forever and always.